Step it up, I've got to go. Front row seat, fashion show. Live it up in the afterglow. Up late,
Hey!
top low.
Hey, my lovely ladies and handsome gents, how are you doing today? I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope that just so much, just things that keep happening to you that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that great thing happened. Oh, I think of that, oh my gosh, wow, that great thing happened. I really wish that for you. So my name is Bo, and this is the Talk to the Hand Reviews channel. And today I want to talk about fragrances that used to be expensive but are now more affordable. I used to work behind the counter and as a promotional rep in the industry back in the day for women's fragrances, men's fragrances, cosmetics. I worked behind the counter for Dior. I was a rep for Oscar de la Renta and for Guerlain for a promotional rep in Southern California areas. And so I had a really fun time back then. And what I really noticed that you can't know unless you're a ripe old age and you were there like me, that a lot of these fragrances that are affordable now, they used to be as expensive as the most expensive ones now. When I worked behind the counter, a lot of these fragrances were considered a lot more prestigious than the prices that you can find them for now would indicate. So to me, these fragrances are still prestigious, and I'm trying to get as many of them as I can, that would have been much more expensive back in the day. But I actually should clarify, and a lot of the case here, Guerlain versus Oscar de la Renta, any of the Guerlain fragrances like Shalimar. When I worked for Guerlain, our big fragrances were Shalimar and Samsara was the newest fragrance that we came out with at that time. So we were promoting both of those. Always Shalimar was always there in every store. Shalimar was always there. But I also worked for Oscar de la Renta, and Oscar de la Renta always had the front counters, and the product cost about the same. A bottle of Oscar de la Renta fragrance would cost about the same as a bottle of Shalimar. And as you know, that ain't the case these days. Guerlain went, woo, shot way up, but for some reason, Oscar de la Renta fragrances kind of stayed at the same price. I mean, they're even kind of more affordable than they used to be back in the day. I'm sure that there are lots of different interesting reasons behind the scenes as to why that is. But for right now, all I want to do is let you in on the little secret that really only some of the old timers from behind the counter like me can tell you, that because they saw it, I saw it, and I remember. Okay, and by the way, this is my second. This is volume 2. Dong. Ding. Volume 2, because my first one actually ended up being, I think, my most watched video, or one of the most watched videos, and it was so much fun to do. So I don't want it to be too long, but here I go. This was one of my favorites back in the day, and I only recently just got another bottle of it, and it is still gorgeous. It is Calandre by Paco Rabanne. Oh, this is like, I feel nowadays that I'm older. I don't know when this came out, 76 or something. This seems like it could have been like a Studio 54, popular fragrance. It is a lot like old formulation of Chanel No. 5, which is one of the reasons I really like it. I have to say, and I feel a little bad saying this because I love you, I love it, Calandre, I love it. I think it's, and I'm not sure if this is just because I was young when I loved it before, and I'm not that young now. I think it had more of a citrusy sparkle to it. There was some extra sparkle to it that I think feels a little more weighted down now, but I still absolutely love this one. And Calandre is the same price as it used to be. It's one of those, you know what, no, that's not true. That's not true. Calandre did go up a little tiny bit. It did go up a little bit. But you can find it. I got this one, I think, I'm not sure if I got it at Fragrance Buy or at like Fragrance Net, one of those. But you can find it usually on those sites for a really good price. And I'm so happy to have it. I do adore it. But I think I'd be fibbing if I said it was exactly the same as it used to be. It is mostly the same as it used to be, but there is a little bit of something that's not quite as bright and effervescent as it used to be, and I'm not exactly sure that that isn't my youth. Anyways, Calandre by Paco Rabanne. Okay, I'm digging into my minis collection. A lot of these are minis that I had that I kept from the 80s and 90s, but this one I actually got recently. But this was when I worked for Oscar de la Renta as a promotional rep, the last fragrance that they came out with before I left the company was Oscar Volupte. And it is a gorgeous little, you know, can't deny it looks a little bit like an adorable little like UFO. You know, it is pretty sweet. I adore it. And this fragrance, you know, it was kind of groundbreaking, I think, because it was one of the earlier gourmands, I think, really. Because when I worked behind the counter, gourmands weren't really a thing. I think that that technology came about in the 90s or was more used then. I feel like this is like very much like a fruit salad. It's a lot like L'Eau de Say by Issey Miyake. It's just a gorgeous it's a gorgeous effervescent fruity type of fragrance. This one cost more than this one cost the same as Oscar de la Renta used to cost. This one cost the same as Shalimar used to cost. The same as Samsara used to cost. But this one can be had more affordably now. But it was designed and created for the more expensive market back in the day. And I was there and I remember this one. So I feel like it's one of those that has that extra thing that makes it worth getting. You know, this was not made to be sold on a discount market. In fact, back then, you couldn't sell just anywhere. There were strict regulations as to who could carry this stuff. Department stores could carry it. Some other stores could carry it. But not every drugstore could carry it. Not every department store could carry it. They controlled their distribution of that stuff. It's different now, isn't it? So yeah, Oscar Volupte can now be found more affordably than it used to be. Or when this came out, it was such a big deal. It had big old front cases, and a lady used to come in. The kind of job that I did for Oscar and Guerlain, this lady did for Paloma Picasso. And she was so interesting. She was stylish. She had Paloma Picasso earrings and the scarf, and she was always very perfectly her hair was perfect, and she was really funny. She was like a person who was really like almost like she worked in like, I feel like her personality would have worked at Vogue in New York or something like that. This lady who was the promotional rep for Paloma Picasso, which was such a big deal back then. And Paloma Picasso, I sold it. I was there when it cost the same as Shalimar, friends. I just feel like because of who it is, because of who is behind it, Paloma Picasso, jewelry designer, daughter of Pablo Picasso, the famous painter, that's enough. Who cares what it smells like? You know, I mean, I just think, and she has other fragrances too, but this is the one that I was there selling. I sold also her men's fragrance called Minotaur, which is a really nice men's fragrance. But Paloma Picasso, another one that used to be expensive but can now be found more affordably. But that doesn't take away from the prestige of this fragrance. Just because you can get it affordably now doesn't mean that was what it was made for. It was made to be expensive. So yeah, it's another good one. By the way, that's kind of a masculine scent profile. I think if it came out in this day and age, it would definitely be marketed as a gender neutral. Okay, this one was a big deal when it came out. Lalique, original Lalique. I think it was a little more expensive than everything else. It was a little more expensive than Shalimar. I'm just going to use Shalimar as the benchmark because I know you all know the price of Shalimar. And I'm telling you, Shalimar used to be the same. It was at par price-wise as everything I'm showing you here. Everything. Pretty much. It wasn't the huge difference that it is now. So anyways, this one, Lalique. Oh my gosh. Of course, from the Lalique glass company. I mean, it's just so beautiful. This is a beautiful, feminine, very upscale smelling fragrance. Very rich, very rich. I'd love to have a full bottle of this now. It's actually, you know, it's in my cart. This one's in my cart, the big one. My husband bought me also a beautiful commemorative one of this, but I'm not using it. I have it in a little display case. But yeah, Lalique, it is, and you know, it has that thing, I think, that old school perfumery has, where there was no gourmand whatsoever. There's no marshmallow, no berry. It is very classy lady perfume. Very classy lady perfume. It's just gorgeous, and I can't wait to actually get another full bottle of it. Haha. Yeah, Lalique Original. By the way, that is my bottle from way back when. I tried to save it. I don't know what happened. I guess it leaked. Okay, this one was around back in the day when I used to sell women's fragrances. However, I don't remember selling it myself, but I think it was around when I worked for either Oscar or for Galan, because I went to different stores that sold a lot of other different fragrances. And so I think when I was there was when I really got to know it. And I was always impressed, and I always felt like, oh yeah, this is upscale. This is very upscale. But I felt too that it was a little bit too of a strong fragrance for me. And I know strong is like an ambiguous word, but I mean, it's kind of just the best way that I can tell you right now. I'm not as good at describing things as a lot of these other people out there are, you know, on and on, because there are so many people who can describe things so beautifully. And I'm not the one who does it as well, but I can just share with you my memories about how I remember the things and how I feel about them now. So this fragrance was there. It was Boucheron. Look at that. It's so pretty, isn't it? I believe that it was a slightly different bottle style. I think this looks like it's maybe was, you know, maybe updated for more mass marketing. It's still beautiful. I actually think I like this one better, but they still have that beautiful little jewel looking thing at the top. So this is this just makes me feel like the lady who wears this, or from back in the day, I don't know about now, this just makes me feel like this is a person who has her stuff together. She's like an executive. She's like a Los Angeles executive. She lives in the Hollywood Hills, and she's like, you know, production, like some production head of some production on some film, and you know, that kind of thing, or like a real estate executive, just someone who's really got it together. This is a very it's a sexy, but it's a commanding fragrance. I would say it's also mature smelling. I think this would be a really good gender neutral fragrance if you like a sweeter fragrance. You know what I think? Back in the day, I think Nino Cerruti had a men's fragrance that was a bit like this, actually. It was very sweet, but you know, this is just off the top of my head. But this is all I have to offer. Anyways, Boucheron, another one that used to be like at par with Shalimar price-wise. Actually, I think it was more than Shalimar. Still available and still very nice. Was not made to be on a discount market. Okay, you all know this one, and I cannot even tell you the frenzy of this one. But I mean, this one was by far one of our absolute bestsellers. Always and Forever. Everybody loved this one. Everybody wore it, and I always liked it, but I never bought it for myself. But I thought it was a nice fragrance. It is, and here's a mini, and the mini is so cute. Obsession. Obsession. Isn't it cute? Calvin Klein fragrance back in the day was high end. You had to go behind the counter to get your hands, to get your nose on anything Calvin Klein. This was right up there in the front cases. Always, always, always. Now it can be found like much more affordably. It is a great fragrance. Another one that I think would have been marketed as a gender neutral fragrance back in the day. And I want to tell you something else about Calvin Klein that I'll tell you. When I launched another Calvin Klein fragrance when I worked in men's fragrances, CK1, I was there when it launched. And I went to the training classes that they gave. And they gave me a bottle of it. And I think did they give me something else? I don't remember. But they used to do that. You know, you'd go to training a lot of times for fragrances and cosmetics. And they said, yes, it is one of the first fragrances. They said, yes, it is one of the first fragrances that is made to be a shared fragrance. And, you know, a bunch of us were like, oh yeah, unisex. That's called unisex. They were like, no. They were nice. They were like, no, we don't want you to say unisex. They felt it was, I think, an outdated term. They said, we want you to say shared. CK1 is a shared fragrance. That was the exact wording they wanted us to say. So I don't know why, but that always instilled in me that Calvin Klein didn't want people to call their CK1 a unisex fragrance. So I never say unisex. But what I don't say shared either. I say gender neutral. To me, that just makes the most sense. But anyways, all that time that I was talking, I was also cleverly, diabolically opening this teeny bottle. Yeah, this is a wonderful, warm fragrance. The essence is still there. This is my bottle from back in the day. I didn't open it at all until I had this channel. This is like that old, from the 90s, from the 80s, 90s, something like that. So Obsession for women, and I also love Obsession for men. It is also one that can be got at an affordable price now, but was not made for the discount market. It's so fun pulling out my minis. Okay, I'm delighted to see that this fragrance is still around because it's really cool. I remember it being too much for me back in the day. The fragrance was one that was so much, it would make me, you know, give me a headache. It was too strong for me, but I could wear, I had the shower gel. I had the fragrance too, but I had the shower gel, and I found it was so strong that when I just used the shower gel, the fragrance would stay on my skin. And oh, I love this fragrance. It is like it is so like this weird mixture of innocently sexy yet completely in control. It is very like it's sassy, and it will this girl is dressed up, or guy, this girl is dressed really cute. She is wearing the absolutely sexiest outfit that you've ever seen, and she is acting like she doesn't even know how sexy that is. And she is getting away with it, and she is turning heads, and she is not paying any attention. This girl does what she wants, when she wants, and her name is Lulu. Lulu. I cannot wait to get a new bottle of this. I know it's out there affordably because I have seen it. But back in the day, this was one that we had to sell behind the counter. Lulu, it was a very, very special thing. It was not made for a discount market. Just for you, my friends, I opened up my little mini. I'm gonna smell it. Yes! There it is. Oh my gosh. Oh, she said hello. She said, hey, I'm a genie in a bottle, baby. Come on, let me out. Ooh. Woo! This fragrance is, oh my gosh. This is like a cross between, oh my gosh, who could I say? This is a cross between Marilyn Monroe, oh my gosh, and Cardi B. This is hot. This is hot as this is so sexy, this fragrance. But it's not spicy. It's not a spicy, sexy fragrance. It's an extreme floral. It is a floral. It's the biggest floral. It is the biggest floral. It's just so party girl, anything goes or not. She'll decide, no, you know what? No, I'm going to stay home tonight and take a bath. You know, that's this Lulu. Oh my gosh. It is a great, great fragrance. It's a great fragrance, Lulu. Yeah. And by the way, this little bottle, this was how the splash used to come. It was a bigger one, you know, but it came like this. It wasn't only in the spray. It was this super cute little thing. So I think that was probably pretty collectible, but I got my full bottle still and it still smells really good. It still smells great. Lulu. That one's from Cacharel. Okay, a classic. I just recently got this one. I'd never tried this one before, but I was aware of it. Actually, no, I think I had a little bottle somewhere in my family, but I don't remember knowing it at all. So I bought a new bottle. It is Madame Rochas. I don't know how to say it. I hope that's right. Madame Rochas. That's probably it, if it's French. Madame Rochas. Rochas. Madame Rochas. Anyways, this is a really nice, substantial bottle. Gorgeous top, gorgeous cap. This is one that was around and never, ever meant to be as affordable as it is. I don't love this. It reminds me a little bit of Aquanet hairspray from back in the day, and I'm hoping it's had a bit of time now to macerate, but I'm hoping by letting it a little more, I will be able to use it because I really wanted to. I bought this big old bottle, and I was really hoping to enjoy it, so I'm going to give it some time. But if on your own adventures, you might want to check out this fragrance, classic fragrance that was more expensive. It is now more affordable. Okay, Eternity, another great Calvin Klein, product. One of my signature fragrances, one of my favorite fragrances, you know, a special fragrance for me and my husband. I really, really love it, Eternity. I was there when it launched. I launched it as well. And, you know, it was about as high-end as it got back then. It was. So, you know, I mean, maybe if nobody ever told you that, I'm telling you that now. So you can look at Eternity with new eyes. Eternity. Okay, this little cutie pie, I never sold this, but it was around. Cabotine. I just think this is the most, this in a way is kind of sexy in the same way Lulu is. It's more sophisticated though, where Lulu is a little more playful, I think. This is a little more grown-up feeling. Not, either one is any age. Either one is any age. But this is slightly more mature. A gorgeous green floral. I was really, really happy to get, you know, more affordable now because, oh, and you know what else? When I worked behind the counter for Dior, we had Dior Tendre Poisson. No, not tender fish. Dior Tendre Poisson. Dior Tendre Poisson. Tendre Poisson. Anyways, and it smells a lot like this. And I never knew that until I smelled this recently. It does smell, they do smell a lot alike. But I would say the Dior, like most Dior fragrances, they are so rich. They have that extra level of richness to them. All the Dior fragrances that I have ever tried, they seem like especially higher quality in terms of the materials used. Somehow this does too, but that one seemed, I don't know, it was like it had probably more strong elements to it. So I would say I actually like this better because it is a bit lighter. But yeah, Cabotine, it's a really more affordable option to Dior Tendre Poisson. That used to be more expensive. And I've got 2 more little honorable mentions, and then that's the end of my video. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please leave down below if you know of any little special things like that that you want to share with us we might not know about. Please tell me, because that's my thing. I really love to know about that. You know, I just want to get, what can I afford to get, you know, because I just love to have these wonderful fragrances. To me, their history, their personal history, you know, a lot of them. Anyways, these last 2 are also minis, but they mean a lot to me, and they're in the same category. Okay, this one is very unusual. It is called Caesar's Woman from Caesar's Palace. It is the most unusual scent profile. It smells rich in the way that Giorgio smelled rich. It is a beautiful fragrance, and I sold it behind the counter, and it was expensive, and now it can be found much more affordably. Caesar's Woman. Caesar's Women. Caesar's Woman. Caesar's Woman. And it's still around. It's still being sold out there, and I'm thrilled because it's really unique. It's really unique. And the last one, the original Elizabeth Taylor's Passion. This is my perfume. I also launched Elizabeth Taylor's Passion, and I have a rich history with it. I tried like all the products, and I'm glad to see that it's still around. I don't have a new bottle. I would love to have one. But meanwhile, I have this Parfum pure perfume oil, which still smells the way I remember this fragrance smelling. And I sold it behind the counter. It was not as affordable as you can get it now, even though it was one of the early celebrity fragrances. You know, celebrity fragrances weren't exactly widely accepted in the department stores back then like they are now. You know, I think maybe it was a little bit of a challenge for her to get in there. She was one of the first, I think, in the department store. There were some in drugstores, but she was in the department store. And yeah, it's a really great fragrance. If you've never tried it, it's really unique. I've still never smelled anything like it. I'd love to have another one. And you know, it's more affordable now, so it is definitely on my list. Just want to thank you so much for coming to see me again. Please leave any comments down below. I love to talk to you, and I always answer everything. And if I don't, it is a mistake. Sometimes it takes me a couple days to get to it, but I always get to it, and I hope that you will continue this journey with me. Thanks so much. Bye.